hi guys. I just wanted to talk today about inducing change in people. So most of us at any particular time, we're actually looking either to change our behaviors or something that we are doing towards something that is positive and which will actually affect some good outcomes in the things that we are doing and the results that we want to get. And it is the same with companies and organizations as well. They might be looking to change behaviors of people. Now, if you look at what strategies are actually employed out there in order to effect change in people, most of the research suggests that most of them are actually fear-based induced strategies to effect change. So for example, if you look at cigarette packets, for example, they put these really graphic images of people with diseases of lungs and things that are really graphic and quite scary in order to actually scare people into stopping smoking. And it's the same even for those who are parents with kids as well. Sometimes we use scare tactics to actually get kids to stop certain things that they are actually doing. But what does the actual science actually say about the effectiveness of these fear-induced strategies? Now, if you look at the science, especially in particular for people in smoking, there is actually little evidence to suggest that these fear-based induced strategies actually work, because if you look at if you study the way that we as humans are actually made, there's actually a reason for it. There's a reason why if you try to scare people to change their behaviors or to do something, it just doesn't work. It's because essentially, if you go back to us humans as animals as well, in animals, once what happens when you induce fear in an animal, it's either one of two things. Either freeze or flee. Rarely there will be flight. It will be freezing or fleeing. So it's the same. If you're inducing someone, if you're trying to scare someone, they either freeze and not do anything, not take action, or they will just fly away and just go. So you don't get the desired outcomes because for actually inducing fear in people. Now, if you look at the science on the other side, people tend to listen and change behaviors towards positive information that they receive. So there was an example, actually, an experiment that was done with about people who were asked a question about what would be the probability of you, for example, in the next 2 to 5 years, becoming deaf and losing your hearing. So they then gave these people 2 experts to actually speak to them. So for them, the people would say, probably 50%, 70% or whatever. They were not entirely sure what that would be. So they brought in 2 experts, separately. So one expert will, spoke to the person and analyzed and said, I believe your chance of getting, becoming deaf in the next 5 years is probably 30%, about 30%. Is fairly small. And then they went into another room and the expert there said, just speaking to you, the chances of you getting a hearing loss in the next 5 years are actually 80%. And it was interesting, actually, when the people were asked which one they sort of believed, they tended to believe more towards the positive news that their chance was more like 30%, because as humans we actually gravitate and listen and change our beliefs and behaviors. Even if so, we believed that it would have been 50%, but because we are hearing good news from an expert, we tend to gravitate and change our beliefs and behaviors towards actually the positive news. So, in the interest of understanding this, science and the evidence, what can we do to actually affect change in people by using these thrill or gain based strategies? So if you look at the study again, there's actually essentially three things. Actually, there's probably a fourth one as well that I'll discuss, which essentially they are positive strategies that can motivate and affect change in them. So the first is the social proof or incentives. So there was a study that was actually done with medical doctors in a hospital. So what actually happened was in the first instance, they asked medical doctors to actually wash their hands, when they are coming out of the toilet. So there was a camera which was installed in the toilets. So when they analyzed the actual results, they found that even putting a camera in, some people would wash their hands and some people would not. So there wasn't actually a significant change in the statistics to actually drive them towards changing their behavior to washing their hands more often. So they then tried a different strategy to actually put a screen in the toilet, which every time they wash their hands, it would flash up on the screen to add a number for their department and their section to say, you are the 10th person to have washed their hands today. That number would go up and it will show the percentage of how they are actually doing compared to their peers in the department. And actually, the results of that actually improved significantly because, psychologically for people, washing their hands and seeing the number going up as well as their department doing well was a bit of a social incentive, because we all like to do things that our peers or our group or our people are actually doing. So that in itself can be a driving factor as well to actually get us to do things, because it's got that social incentive amongst our peers. And it was the same actually even the inland revenue in the UK, whereby they just told people that you need to pay your taxes in good time, and there was no impact to the change. But then they added one sentence to the letter which said that 9 out of 10 people actually pay their taxes in time. And because of that sentence alone, the number of people paying taxes actually improved by 15%, because people wanted to be in a group of the 90%, the 9 out of 10 were actually paying their taxes. And this increased the revenue intake for the inland revenue by about 15%, just that sentence, because we like that social proof and that social incentive for us. And the next strategy is actually highlighting the progress rather than the decline, because there's a psychology behind people wanting, because we all know we want the good things in the future. So for example, we stop smoking or you exercise now, you're going to have good health or that in the future. But people want to see some rewards now. They want to see something tangible that they can feel now. You highlight the progress, not the decline, the problem. So for example, in someone who is is actually smoking, instead of saying, if you smoke, you're gonna, die or something. Because whenever there is some negative news for people, their mind and the brain tries to rationalize it to make it positive. So for example, someone trying to stop smoking, they will rationalize themselves in their mind to say, but so and so, my grandfather, smoked like a chimney and he lived to be 90, or something like that, to justify the fact that they're smoking. I've been smoking for 10 years, I don't feel any different, or something like that. So we tend to rationalize that. But if you highlight progress and not decline, you could in that instance, for example, say to someone who is smoking, to say, smoking, if you stop smoking, for example, you could be better at doing your sports, for example, or you could become better at concentration in your work, or you could become better. So you're highlighting the progress and the good thing that will come from the stopping of the act, rather than the decline, rather than saying, if you carry on smoking, you're gonna die or your lungs are gonna be destroyed. If you stop smoking, you're gonna be better at your sports. You're gonna, be able to exercise more. You can take your kids, to the park and run a bit more, and all those kind of things. So you're highlighting the progress rather than the decline. And that actually, from the point of view of how our mind and the brain works, actually it's more an incentive. And the more that people can see the immediate rewards of, I can become better at sports, I can do something, and then those immediate rewards are coming and they're repetitive, that's when they develop into a habit, and that is what can change behaviors over long term. So it's the short-term immediate rewards which, being done repetitively, will develop a habit that will generate that long-term gain. So you're building some small short-term gains in order to build up a habit so you can get those long-term gains as well. So highlighting progress, not the decline, is another key strategy in following the science of how we work in order to motivate change in people. So highlighting the progress and those immediate rewards that people will actually get, even in exercising as well as smoking. So you will actually see this, a classic example as well could be on some companies on utility bills. They practice these three things of social proof and incentives, highlighting the progress rather than the decline, and also the immediate rewards, to give you that sense of control, that in order for you to make the progress, it's in your control and it's in your hands. So for example, you can see on a bill like a smiley face, for example, to show you where you are in terms of the progress. So I remember seeing a bill whereby they're trying to get you to go green. So there's a graph there, maybe from 1 to 10, which shows maybe, let's say, the green section is 50% of people, and then they show your progress that you're at 49 towards that 50 thing. So it's showing you your progress, and then in your mind you're looking and thinking, I want to get to the green, because from a social proof point of view, there's quite a few people in the 50, I want to get there as well. And then the smiley face is your reward to say, you're here. It's a particular smiley face, maybe it's a gray color, and you want to have a green smiley face, and you also want to go green in terms of the colors as well. So that strategy can move you to go towards, I want to go green as well, I want to get to the smiley face, I want to go to green. And in terms of you going to actually get that, it's in your control, because we all like to understand and know that the processes that we want to get to are in our control as well. Not that someone is forcing us to do something, but from our point of view, it is in our control to do all of those. So the social proof, the immediate rewards, as well as highlighting the progress, if that is in our control, we can actually manipulate our brain to understand by using these gain-based strategies to motivate change, rather than fear-induced strategies to actually affect or motivate that change in people. So I thought that was a good discussion, actually a good talk, to understand that in order for us to effect change in people, we should follow. If we follow the science, we find that fear-induced strategies are less effective and they're least likely to actually bring you the results that you want. But look at those gain-based strategies, because that thrill of gain, that understanding of a gain actually induces action in people rather than the inducement of fear, because the fear will just make them freeze or flee. But if you effect, or if you induce that sense of thrill or gain, that is what will induce action. So that's social proof to see, actually, I can improve the statistics of my group and thing. Or, well, if I go green, I will actually get a smiley face. Or, I'm getting immediate rewards. If I stop smoking, I'm going to be good at sports or good at, cycling and do something that I like. That gain, the thrill of that gain will actually induce the action. And those small gains over time, that action that is done will build into a habit and reap those long-term benefits as well. So I think that will be a really good place to look at following the science and using some of these gain-based strategies to effect and motivate change in people rather than fear-induced strategies. So I hope you go out there, experience, learn, and grow, and start practicing that thrill of gain and gain-based strategies in order to effect and motivate people into change. So until next time, cheerio.